Before we dive in, a quick but crucial word. The content in this video is for informational and educational purposes only. I am not a financial advisor, and this presentation should not be considered financial or investment advice. The cryptocurrency market is highly volatile and carries significant risk. You should always conduct your own thorough research and consult with a qualified professional before making any financial decisions. Your financial situation is unique, and any action you take based on this information is strictly at your own risk. You've heard the stories, haven't you? The whispers at the office, the posts from that one high school friend who suddenly seems to be a financial genius. You hear about Bitcoin hitting a new all-time high, and you feel that tiny pang of, what is it? Regret? Confusion? It feels like you're standing on the shore, watching a massive ship sail off to a new world, and you don't even know how to buy a ticket. You see headlines about people turning a few $1,000s into a life-changing fortune, and then you see other headlines about people losing it all to a scam or market crash. Feels overwhelming. It feels like a private club for tech wizards and Wall Street gamblers, and you weren't given the secret handshake. The jargon alone is enough to make your head spin. Blockchains, altcoins, staking, NFTs, hot wallets, cold storage. It sounds more like a sci-fi movie than a way to build wealth. So you do nothing. You stay on the sidelines, paralyzed by the fear of making a mistake, of being the one who buys at the top or gets their account hacked. And that feeling of being left behind just keeps growing. Well, I'm here to tell you that's about to change. Right now. Because by the end of this presentation, you will have a simple, clear, step-by-step roadmap to buy your very first cryptocurrency, safely and confidently right here in the United States. We are going to cut through all the noise, all the hype, and all the confusion. We are going to turn that feeling of anxiety into a feeling of empowerment. This isn't a guide for day traders or tech geniuses. This is a guide for you, the teacher, the nurse, the truck driver, the small business owner, the everyday American who wants to understand the most significant financial revolution of our generation and decide for themselves if they want to own a piece of it. The biggest lie you've been told about cryptocurrency is that it's too complicated for the average person. That was true maybe in 2015. But we're in 2026. Buying your first crypto today is easier than setting up a new social media profile. The tools are simpler, the platforms are safer, and the path is clearer than it has ever been. Think about the early days of the internet. People were terrified. They said, "Why would I ever put my credit card information online? It's not safe." They said, "This whole email thing is just a fad for computer nerds." And for a while they were right. It was clunky and a little scary. But then companies like Amazon and Google came along and built simple, secure gateways that made it easy for everyone. We are at that exact moment right now with cryptocurrency. The bridges have been built. The on-ramps are open. The question is no longer if mainstream adoption is coming, it's how you position yourself before it fully arrives. To do that, we're going to focus on three core pillars. Three simple concepts that will form the foundation of your entire crypto journey. Number 1. The exchange, which is your gateway into the crypto world. Number 2, the wallet, which is your personal digital vault. And number 3, the coin, which is your first investment. That's it. The exchange, the wallet, and the coin. Master these three pillars, and you'll know more than 90% of the people who are just blindly throwing money at the market. So let's start with pillar number 1, the exchange. What on earth is it? The simplest way to think of a cryptocurrency exchange is like a stock brokerage, a currency exchange booth at the airport, and a bank, all rolled into one digital platform. It's the place where you go to trade your US dollars for digital currencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum. It's the essential first step. You cannot buy crypto without using some kind of exchange, just like you can't buy shares of Apple without going through a brokerage like Fidelity or Charles Schwab. Here in the United States, we have a unique landscape. The government, specifically the SEC and the Treasury Department, keeps a very close eye on these platforms. This is actually a good thing for you as a beginner. It means that the major, US-based exchanges have to follow strict rules. They have to verify your identity just like a bank does when you open an account. This is part of something called KYC, or Know Your Customer laws, designed to prevent fraud and money laundering. It might seem like a hassle to upload your driver's license, but it's a massive green flag. It means the exchange is legitimate and compliant with US regulations, which adds a huge layer of security for your funds. These exchanges are the on-ramps from the traditional financial world, what we call fiat currency. That's just a fancy term for government-issued money like the US dollar, into the new world of digital assets. You connect your bank account or debit card to the exchange, And then you can convert your dollars into the cryptocurrency of your choice. It's the bridge. Now, there are literally hundreds of exchanges out there, but for someone in the US, your choices are much more focused. You want an exchange that is based in the United States, that is regulated here, and that has a long track record of security and customer service. We're talking about the big household names, the ones you might have even seen commercials for. Choosing the right exchange is your first major decision, and it's a critical one. Some are built for absolute beginners, with incredibly simple, almost foolproof interfaces that look a lot like a simple banking app. They prioritize ease of use above all else. Others are designed for more advanced traders, with complex charts, dozens of order types, and lower fees. They offer more power, but with that power comes a much steeper learning curve. Starting on the wrong one is like trying to learn to drive in a Formula 1 race car. You're going to get overwhelmed, you're going to get frustrated, and you're at a higher risk of making a costly mistake. The goal here is not to become a professional trader overnight. The goal is to make your first purchase safely and build your confidence. That's why we're going to focus on the platforms designed for beginners. They make the process of linking your bank account, depositing your dollars, and clicking that buy button as simple as ordering a pizza online. They handle a lot of the complexity for you behind the scenes. Now, you might hear some crypto veterans scoff at these beginner-friendly platforms, saying the fees are too high. And yes, you often pay a small premium for that convenience and simplicity. But let me ask you this. When you were learning to ride a bike, did you start with training wheels? Of course you did. Those training wheels were a tool that helped you build the fundamental skill and balance you needed before you moved on. That's exactly what these exchanges are. They are your financial training wheels in the world of crypto. Paying a couple of extra dollars in fees for a secure, simple, and stress-free first experience is one of the best investments you can make. So the first step is clear. You need to choose a US-regulated, beginner-friendly exchange to act as your bridge. It's your secure lobby where you check in before entering the skyscraper of crypto. But before you even think about signing up for one, before you type in your email address or link your bank account, there's a foundational concept you must understand. It's the single biggest point of confusion and risk for every new crypto buyer. It's the difference between truly owning your asset and just having an IOU from a company. I'm talking about the crucial distinction between holding your crypto on the exchange versus holding it in your own personal wallet. Understanding this one idea is the key that separates the informed investor from the herd, and it's what will protect you from the biggest horror stories you've ever heard about in this space. And that is exactly what we are going to break down next. That one idea is ownership. True, undeniable digital ownership. And to understand it, I want you to first think about your bank account. Right now, if you have $1,000 in a checking account at a major US bank, do you actually have $1,000? The answer technically is no. What you have is an IOU. You have a promise from the bank that they owe you $1,000. You've entrusted them to hold it for you, and in return you get convenience, a debit card, online bill pay, ATM access. You've given up direct control of your money for the services they provide. For the most part, thanks to things like FDIC insurance, this system works. We trust it. Now imagine you go to that bank's ATM and withdraw that $1,000 in cash. You hold those crisp $100 bills in your hand. Now, do you have $1,000? Yes, absolutely. It's not an IOU anymore. It's not a promise. It's a physical asset in your possession. No one can take it from you without physically taking it. You have total control, and with that control comes total responsibility. If you lose it, it's gone. If your house burns down, it's gone. There's no 1-800 number to call to get your cash back. This exact same principle is the single most important concept in all of cryptocurrency. It's the difference between holding an IOU for Bitcoin and actually holding Bitcoin. It's the difference between letting a company be your bank and becoming your own bank. And it's summed up in the most famous phrase in this entire industry. Not your keys, not your coins. Let's break that down. In the world of crypto, ownership isn't proven by a username and password. It's proven by a unique, incredibly powerful piece of cryptographic data called a private key. Think of this private key as the ultimate master key to your digital money. It's the one thing that lets you sign, send, and control your crypto. It's like the PIN to your ATM card, the signature on your check, and the key to your safe deposit box, all rolled into one, but a billion times more secure. Whoever holds this key, and only whoever holds this key, owns the coins. Now here's the critical part. When you go to a big, popular cryptocurrency exchange, the places where you'll actually buy your first crypto, and you purchase, say, $500 worth of Bitcoin, that exchange does something very similar to a traditional bank. They create an account for you, and inside that account they show you a balance. You have 0.01 Bitcoin. But here's the catch. They haven't given you the private key to that Bitcoin. They are the ones holding the private key on your behalf, in their massive digital vault. This is called a custodial service. They are the custodian of your asset. Just like the bank, you have an IOU. You have a promise from the exchange that they will give you your Bitcoin when you ask for it. You've traded direct control for convenience. And for millions of people, this is where the story ends. They buy crypto, they see the number go up or down on the screen, and they leave it on the exchange sometimes for years. And for years this might be fine. Until it's not. This is where the horror stories come from. You've probably heard the names. Tigox, Celsius, Voyager, and the most spectacular implosion of them all, FTX. Sam Bankman-Fried's crypto empire. It was one of the biggest, most trusted exchanges in the world. Celebrities endorsed it. They had their name on a sports arena. Millions of people, from regular folks to sophisticated investors, trusted them with their money. They bought their crypto on FTX and left it there, assuming it was safe, just like money in a bank. But behind the scenes, FTX was not a bank. It was a casino using customer money as its chips. They took the assets people thought they owned and made reckless bets, lent them out and spent them. And when the market turned and people came asking for their money back, when they tried to cash in their IOUs, the vault was empty. The money was gone. In the blink of an eye, billions of dollars in customer funds vanished. People who had their life savings on the platform woke up to find their account balance was meaningless. It was just a number on a screen, a promise that could no longer be kept. They learned the lesson in the most brutal way possible. If you don't hold the private keys, you do not own your coins. You own a promise from a company, and that promise can be broken. That is the risk of convenience. When you leave your assets on an exchange, you are exposed to what's called counterparty risk. You are trusting that the company will be honest, that they won't get hacked, that they won't go bankrupt, and that they won't suddenly freeze your account for reasons you don't understand. Now let's look at the other side of the coin. Taking control. This is the concept of self-custody. Self-custody is the act of moving your cryptocurrency off the exchange and into a personal wallet where you, and only you, control the private keys. This is the crypto equivalent of withdrawing cash from the ATM. When you move your Bitcoin from an exchange to your own wallet, you are converting that IOU into the actual asset. It is now yours, in your direct possession. No company can bankrupt and take it with them. No CEO can gamble it away. No government or third party can freeze it. It gives you true financial sovereignty. But, just like holding $1,000 in cash, this control comes with a profound level of personal responsibility. When you are your own bank, you are also your own security. If you lose your private key, there is no one to call. There is no forgot password link. There is no customer service agent who can help you. Your funds will be locked in their digital vault forever, inaccessible to you and everyone else on the planet. The responsibility is entirely on you to protect that key. So this presents the great dilemma for every single person entering crypto. Do you choose the convenience of an exchange and accept the risk that comes with it? Or do you choose the absolute control of self-custody and accept the heavy responsibility that comes with it? For a beginner in 2026, the answer isn't one or the other. The answer is a process, a journey from one to the other. Think of it this way: it is perfectly acceptable, and in fact it's the most common path to buy your first cryptocurrency on a major, regulated US-based exchange. For your first purchase, for a small amount of money that you're using to learn the ropes, leaving it on the exchange for a few days or a week is okay. It's the waiting pool. It allows you to get comfortable without the immediate pressure of becoming a security expert overnight. But your very next goal, your first mission after buying, should be to learn how to move it. You need to learn how to set up your own wallet and practice sending a small amount, say $20, from the exchange to your personal wallet. You need to feel the experience of taking that IOU and turning it into a real asset that you control. And what is a wallet? It's simply a tool, a piece of software or hardware, that manages your keys and lets you interact with the crypto network. They come in two main flavors. Hot wallets are software programs on your computer or phone. They're connected to the internet, making them convenient for smaller amounts and frequent transactions, like a checking account. Then there are cold wallets, or hardware wallets. These are small physical devices like a USB drive that keep your private keys completely offline, away from hackers. This is the gold standard for security, the equivalent of your own personal Fort Knox for storing any amount of crypto you can't afford to lose. So, here is the modern pragmatic strategy for 2026. Step 1. Choose a safe, reliable exchange to make your initial purchase. Step 2. For any amount of money that would genuinely hurt to lose, learn to move it into your own self-custody wallet. And for serious long-term investments, that means a hardware wallet. This strategy gives you the best of both worlds: the easy on-ramp of an exchange and the sovereign security of self-custody. Understanding this balance between convenience and control is everything. It's the framework that will guide every decision you make from here on out. It will protect you from the catastrophic losses that have sadly defined the early years of this industry for so many. So, with that foundational knowledge now in place, we can finally get to the exciting part. We're ready to take that first concrete step. We need to choose the best and safest place to actually buy our first crypto. There are many options in the United States, but they are not all created equal. Some have high fees, some have confusing interfaces, and some have questionable track records. Choosing the right one is critical to making this a smooth, successful experience. And in the very next part, we're going to compare the top 3 US-based exchanges, break down their pros and cons, and help you decide which one is the absolute best fit for you to begin your journey. Alright, let's dive in. Choosing your first crypto exchange is like picking a guide for your first trip into a vast new country. Some guides make it incredibly simple, pointing out only the main attractions. Others are experts in security, taking you on the safest possible routes. And some act like institutional tour guides, focused on long-term, regulated expeditions. Today, we're meeting the 3 most trusted guides for anyone in the United States: Coinbase, Kraken, and Gemini. These aren't just random names. By 2026, these 3 have solidified their positions as the gold standard for safety, compliance, and user experience in the US. They are the major on-ramps where you will trade your US dollars for digital assets like Bitcoin or Ethereum for the very first time. And while they all do the same basic job, their approach, their philosophy, and the type of person they're best for are dramatically different. Let's start with the one you've almost certainly heard of: Coinbase. Think of Coinbase as the Apple of cryptocurrency. Its entire existence is built around one principle: simplicity. They have poured hundreds of millions of dollars into making the process of buying crypto as easy as ordering a pizza on your phone. If your biggest fear is that crypto is too complicated, that you'll press the wrong button, or get lost in a sea of confusing charts and jargon, Coinbase was built specifically for you. The interface, whether on your computer or on their mobile app, is clean, bright, and intuitive. It strips away all the noise. You see a price, you see a big buy button, and you see a sell button. Feels familiar, like using Venmo or PayPal. The process is designed to hold your hand from the moment you sign up to the moment you own your first fraction of a Bitcoin. They've removed the friction. But this world-class simplicity comes at a cost. Literally, Coinbase's standard platform is known for having some of the highest fees in the business. They charge a premium for that convenience. It's like buying a pre-built, high-end gaming PC instead of sourcing the parts and building it yourself. You pay extra to have an expert assemble it perfectly so you can just plug it in and play. For many first-timers, that peace of mind is worth every penny. You're not just paying a fee, you're paying to avoid a headache. You're paying for confidence. So if you want the path of least resistance, the most user-friendly design, and you're willing to pay a bit more for that frictionless experience, Coinbase is, without a doubt, your starting point. Next, let's talk about the OG, the fortress of security, Kraken. If Coinbase is Apple, think of Kraken as the rugged, ultra-reliable ThinkPad laptop that serious professionals use. It might not be as flashy on the surface, but it is powerful, secure, and respected by those in the know. Founded way back in 2011, Kraken is one of the oldest and most trusted exchanges on the planet. Their reputation is built on one word: security. In an industry where exchange hacks were once commonplace, Kraken has stood as a bastion of safety, a testament to their obsessive focus on protecting customer assets. For the person who has read the scary headlines and whose number one priority is making sure their investment is with a company that has weathered every storm the crypto market has thrown at it, Kraken is the answer. The user interface is a step up in complexity from Coinbase. It presents you with more data, more options, and more control. It assumes you're a little more curious. You'll see order books and simple charts which might look intimidating at first, but they are the actual tools of the market. Kraken respects you enough to show you what's happening behind the curtain. And for this slightly higher learning curve, you are rewarded with significantly lower fees than you'd find on the standard Coinbase platform. You're doing a little more of the work yourself, so you pay less. Think of it as learning to drive a manual transmission car instead of an automatic. It takes a bit more effort to get started, but you have more control and it's more efficient. Kraken is for the cautious learner, the person who values security and cost-effectiveness, and is willing to spend an afternoon learning the ropes to become a more competent investor. Finally, we arrive at Gemini. If Coinbase is Apple and Kraken is the professional's ThinkPad, Gemini is the bespoke, tailored suit from a Wall Street firm. Founded by the Winklevoss twins, Gemini's mission from day one has been to build a bridge between the traditional financial world and the new world of crypto. Their mantra is, regulation and compliance first. They actively work with regulators to build a platform that feels less like a tech startup and more like a modern, digital version of a bank or a brokerage like Fidelity. For the investor who sees crypto not as a quick trade, but as a serious, long-term addition to their portfolio, Gemini's approach is incredibly appealing. The entire platform is designed to inspire trust and confidence. It's clean, professional, and serious. They were pioneers in getting insurance for customer assets and undergoing rigorous security and financial audits. Using Gemini feels safe in a way that resonates with traditional investors. You feel like your money is being handled by a grown-up financial institution. They also focus heavily on services that appeal to long-term holders, like staking and earn programs that allow you to generate interest on your crypto, similar to a high-yield savings account. The trade-off? The move fast and break things. Crypto purists might find Gemini a bit slower to list the newest, hottest, most speculative coins. They don't take chances. They vet every asset on their platform with extreme prejudice. Their fees are competitive, often sitting somewhere between Coinbase and Kraken, offering a good balance of service and cost. Gemini is for the long-term investor, the person who wants their crypto experience to feel as secure, regulated, and professional as managing their 401k. So how do you choose? It really comes down to who you are right now. Forget the noise. Ask yourself one question. What is my biggest priority? If your answer is ease of use, if you want the most foolproof, guaranteed simple experience and are willing to pay a premium for it, you start with Coinbase. If your answer is security and low fees, if you have a healthy dose of caution and are willing to learn a slightly more advanced interface to protect your assets and save money on every transaction, you start with Kraken. And if your answer is trust and regulation, if you view this as a serious, long-term investment and want a platform that feels like a regulated financial institution, you start with Gemini. There is no wrong answer here. All three are excellent, secure choices for a US resident. The best exchange is simply the one that aligns with your personal philosophy. Now you might be thinking, but what about Robinhood or Cash App? I can buy Bitcoin there. And you're right, you can. But there is a monumental difference that we have to address. On many of those platforms, you don't truly own the crypto you buy. You own an IOU. You can't withdraw your Bitcoin to your own private wallet. You are trusting them to hold it for you forever. It's a critical concept known as not your keys, not your coins. And it's the entire philosophical backbone of this movement. With Coinbase, Kraken, and Gemini, you have the freedom to take self-custody of your assets to truly own them. That is the ultimate form of financial sovereignty, and it's why we're starting here. So you've chosen your guide. You've picked your on-ramp. You're standing at the entrance, ready to step into this new world. But what happens when you click sign up? What documents do you need? How do you connect your bank account safely? The verification process can feel a bit invasive and confusing if you're not prepared. In the very next part, we are going to eliminate that confusion completely. I am going to walk you through the entire sign-up and verification process step by step. On our top recommended exchange for absolute beginners, we'll show you exactly what to expect, what information you'll need to have ready, and the fastest way to get your account approved and funded, so you're ready to make that historic first purchase. Alright, let's dive right in. For the purpose of this guide, we're going to walk through the setup process on Coinbase. Now, let me be crystal clear. This is not a sponsored promotion. We're choosing Coinbase for one simple reason. For the vast majority of Americans dipping their toes into crypto for the very first time, it is the most straightforward, regulated, and user-friendly on-ramp available. It's a publicly traded company on the Nasdaq, which means it's subject to a level of financial scrutiny and regulation that many other exchanges are not. Think of it as the shallow end of the swimming pool. It's the safest place to learn how to swim before you even think about venturing into the deep end with more complex platforms. So you'll navigate to their website or download their official app from the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. And please be paranoid about this. Double-check that it's the real app with millions of downloads, not a convincing fake. The first screen you see will be deceptively simple. It'll ask for your name, email address, and a password. This is where your new life of heightened security begins. Do not, under any circumstances, reuse a password from another account. Your password for your financial accounts, especially crypto, should be unique, long, and complex. Use a combination of uppercase letters, lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. Write it down and store it in a secure physical location, or better yet, use a reputable password manager. After you've created your account, you'll be prompted to verify your email. This is standard stuff. You'll get an email, click a link, and boom, you're in. But you're not ready to buy yet. You've basically just walked into the bank lobby. You haven't yet proven to the bank who you are. This next step is the one that trips up some people, or makes them feel a bit uneasy. It's the identity verification process, often referred to as KYC, which stands for Know Your Customer. Why do they need all this information anyway? Isn't crypto supposed to be anonymous? This is a huge misconception. While the technology itself can be pseudonymous, the gateways, the on-ramps and off-ramps where you convert your US dollars into crypto and back again, are regulated financial institutions. They operate in the United States and they have to play by US rules. These KYC and AML, anti-money laundering laws, are in place to prevent illicit activities. It's the same reason you can't just walk into a bank with a suitcase of cash and open an account anonymously. So when Coinbase asks for your personal information, they're not being nosy. They're complying with federal law. You'll be asked to provide your legal name, date of birth, physical address, and the last 4 digits of your social security number. Again, this is the same basic information you provide to open a brokerage account to buy stocks, or a new savings account at a bank. It's used to verify that you are who you say you are, and to fulfill tax reporting requirements for the IRS. Yes, we'll talk about taxes later in the series, don't you worry. After submitting this basic info, you'll move on to the photo ID verification. This is the modern-day equivalent of a bank teller looking at your driver's license. You'll need a valid, unexpired government-issued photo ID. For most people, this will be your state driver's license or a state ID card. Passport also works. The system will typically ask you to use your phone's camera to take a picture of the front and back of your ID. Here are a few pro tips to make this go smoothly on the first try, because getting stuck here is incredibly frustrating. First, place your ID on a dark, plain surface. This helps the camera focus. Second, make sure you're in a well-lit room, but avoid direct overhead lights that can cause a nasty glare on the lamination or hologram. Natural light from a window is your best friend. Third, hold your phone steady and make sure all 4 corners of the ID are visible in the frame, and that every single word is crystal clear and legible. If it's blurry, the automated system will reject it, and you'll have to do it all over again. Next, get ready for your close-up. The system will then likely ask you to take a selfie to match your face to the picture on your ID. This is to ensure that it's really you setting up the account and not someone who just stole your wallet. Follow the on-screen prompts. It might ask you to turn your head slowly to the left or right. Again, good lighting is key. Face a window, don't have a bright light behind you, and for the love of all that is good, take off your sunglasses and hat. Once you submit these photos, the verification is usually pretty quick. Sometimes it's nearly instant, other times it might take a few minutes or, in rare cases of high congestion, a few hours. Don't panic if it's not immediate. Now, while that's processing, let's talk about the single most important security step you will take: setting up two-factor authentication or 2FA. Do not skip this. I repeat, do not skip this. 2FA adds a second layer of security to your account. So even if a hacker steals your password, they still can't get in without that second piece of information. By default, many services will offer SMS-based 2FA, where they text a code to your phone. This is better than nothing, but it's not the best. Hackers can use sophisticated techniques like SIM swapping to intercept your text messages. The gold standard is to use an authenticator app, like Google Authenticator or Authy. You'll download one of these apps to your phone. Then, inside your Coinbase security settings, you'll choose to set up an authenticator app. It will show you a QR code on the screen. You open your authenticator app, scan the code, and it will link your Coinbase account to the app. From that moment on, the app will generate a new 6-digit code every 30 seconds. When you log into Coinbase, you'll enter your password, and then you'll be prompted to enter the current 6-digit code from your authenticator app. Without it, no one gets in. This one step elevates your account security from amateur to professional. Okay, so you're verified and you've secured your account. The bank has checked your ID, and you've set up the advanced locks on your vault. Now it's time to put some money in it. It's time to fund your account. You'll see a section that says something like, Add a payment method. Here in the US, you generally have 3 main options. Option 1 is the most common for beginners. An ACH bank transfer. This is a direct link to your checking account. You'll log into your bank through a secure portal like Plaid. Select your account, and you're linked. The biggest advantage of ACH is that the fees are very low, or sometimes even free. The biggest disadvantage? It's slow. The US banking system is ancient. When you initiate an ACH transfer, the funds may take 3 to 5 business days to fully settle. Now, Coinbase will often give you instant buying power, meaning they'll credit your account so you can buy crypto right away. But you will not be able to send that crypto off the platform or withdraw your funds until the original ACH transfer officially clears. For a first-time buyer who just plans to buy and hold, this is perfectly fine, and it's the method we recommend. Option 2 is using a debit card. The advantage here is speed. It's instant. The money is in your account and fully cleared in seconds. The disadvantage? The fees are significantly higher. You're paying a premium for that convenience, typically a percentage of your purchase amount, which can really add up. We generally advise against this unless you have a critical reason to buy at a specific moment and can't wait. Option 3 is a wire transfer. This is typically for larger amounts of money, say over $10,000. It's faster than ACH, usually clearing in 1 business day, and has a flat fee that can be more economical for big transfers. For your first purchase, you can almost certainly ignore this option. So you'll go ahead and link your checking account via ACH. The process is seamless and secure. Once it's linked, you can initiate your first deposit. Maybe it's $100. Maybe it's $500. Remember our rule from the last part. Only invest what you are genuinely prepared to lose. You'll type in the amount, confirm the transfer, and that's it. You've done it. You have successfully opened, secured, and funded your gateway to the world of digital assets. The money is now moving from the old world rails of the traditional banking system to a modern digital exchange. There's a sense of excitement in this moment, a feeling of stepping into something new. Your account is ready. Your funds are on the way. The platform is unlocked. In the next part, we press the button. We'll walk you through the anatomy of the buy screen, explain the crucial difference between a market order and a limit order, and we will protect you from the single most common and costly mistake that new buyers make when they finally pull the trigger. Alright, let's pull up the mission control panel. This screen, the buy screen, is where all the theory, all the research, and all the preparation finally become real. It can look intimidating, like the cockpit of a 747, with numbers flashing and buttons you're afraid to touch. But I promise you, by the end of this, you'll know exactly what every single lever and dial does. We're going to demystify this entire process, so you can make your first purchase with absolute confidence. First, at the very top, you'll almost always see the asset you're about to buy. It will say Bitcoin or Ethereum, or whatever you've chosen, along with its ticker symbol like BTC or ETH. This is your first checkpoint. Always double-check that you've selected the right digital asset. It's a simple step, but in the heat of the moment, it's easy to overlook. Next, you'll see your payment method. This will be the US bank account or debit card you linked in the previous steps. Some exchanges will show you the different fees associated with each. A debit card purchase is typically instant. The crypto appears in your account in seconds, but it often comes with a slightly higher fee. A bank transfer or ACH transfer might have a lower fee, but it can take a few days for the funds to clear and for you to actually receive your crypto. For your very first buy, the convenience of an instant debit card purchase is often worth the small extra cost just to see the process through from start to finish. Now look for the main input field. This is where you tell the exchange how much you want to buy. You'll usually have 2 options. You can either enter the amount in US dollars, say $100, or you can enter the amount in the cryptocurrency itself, like 0.0015 BTC. My strong recommendation for your first time is to always use the US dollar field. Just type in the exact dollar amount you've budgeted for this investment. It's clean, it's simple, and it prevents any confusion with all those decimal places in crypto. Let the exchange do the math for you. As you type in your dollar amount, you'll see the corresponding amount of crypto you're about to receive update in real time. You'll also see the current price of one whole coin displayed prominently. And you'll notice something immediately. That price is never static. It's flickering, changing every single second. This isn't a flaw, it's a feature. You are plugging into a live, global marketplace that operates 24/7. That number represents the collective agreement of millions of buyers and sellers around the world on what that asset is worth right now. And this brings us to the most important choice you have to make on this screen. A choice that separates beginners from informed investors. The order type. You will almost always see two primary options: a market order and a limit order. Understanding the difference is not just important. It is fundamental to protecting your capital and executing your strategy. Let's start with the market order. This is the default option on most beginner-friendly platforms. A market order is you telling the exchange, "I want to buy $100 worth of Bitcoin right now, at the best price currently available." It's the express lane. It's about speed and certainty of execution. When you place a market order, you are virtually guaranteed to have your order filled almost instantly. The exchange matches you with the lowest price sell orders on its books and completes the transaction. The downside: you don't have precise control over the execution price. Because the market is moving so fast, the price you pay might be a fraction of a percent higher than the price you saw on the screen when you clicked buy. This difference is called slippage. For a small $100 purchase, the slippage is usually just a few cents, practically unnoticeable. But in a wildly volatile market, or for a very large purchase, that slippage can become significant. A market order prioritizes speed over price. Now let's talk about its more sophisticated sibling, the limit order. A limit order is you telling the exchange, "I want to buy $100 worth of Bitcoin, but only if the price is at or below a specific level that I set." You are no longer a price taker. You are a price maker. You dictate the terms. For example, if Bitcoin is currently trading at $70,000, you might set a limit order to buy at $69,500. Your order then goes into the order book and sits there waiting. It will only execute if the market price drops to your specified limit price. The benefit is obvious. You have absolute control. You will never pay more than you want to. It's a disciplined way to invest, allowing you to buy dips and avoid chasing prices as they run up. The downside: your order might never get filled. If the price of Bitcoin never drops back to $69,500, your order will just sit there, and you'll be left on the sidelines as the price potentially moves higher without you. A limit order prioritizes price over speed. So, which one should you use for your first purchase? My advice is this. For your very first small get-your-feet-wet purchase, a market order is perfectly acceptable. The goal here is to successfully navigate the process to get some skin in the game and to understand the mechanics. The potential slippage on a small amount is a tiny price to pay for the educational value of completing the transaction. As you grow and start investing larger sums, you will almost certainly want to graduate to using limit orders to gain more precise control over your entry points. Walk before you run. Okay, you've selected your asset. You've entered your dollar amount. You've chosen a market order. You're on the precipice of making your first buy. And this is where we must address the single most common, most painful, and most easily avoidable mistake that new buyers make. This one mistake has cost people thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars in a single click. The mistake is a combination of two things: a fat finger error and ignoring the final confirmation screen. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you've decided to invest $500. You're excited, maybe a little nervous, your adrenaline is pumping. You go to type 500 into the box, but you accidentally hit an extra zero. You've just told the exchange you want to buy $5,000 worth. Or worse, you're trying to buy a specific amount of crypto, say 0.01 Bitcoin, but you misplace the decimal and type 0.1 or even a full 1.0. In the traditional banking world, a mistake like this might be reversible with a frantic phone call to customer service. In crypto, especially with a market order, there are no takebacks. Once that order is executed on the exchange, it is final. It is irreversible. That crypto is yours, and that money has left your account. There is no one to call. There is no undo button. This is why the final screen, the preview buy or confirm order screen, is the most important screen in this entire process. It is your last line of defense. It breaks down the entire transaction for your final review. And ignoring it is like signing a contract without reading it. This screen will show you the exact amount of crypto you're buying, the price per coin you're paying, and critically, it will show you the fees. Every transaction has fees. The exchange isn't a charity. They might show a spread, which is a tiny margin they build into the price, and they will almost certainly show an exchange fee or a transaction fee. These fees are deducted from your purchase amount. So if you buy $100 of Bitcoin, You might end up with $98.50 worth of actual Bitcoin in your account. This is normal. This is the cost of doing business. But you need to see it, acknowledge it, and be okay with it before you proceed. To protect yourself from this catastrophic mistake, I want you to burn a simple rule into your brain. It's called the triple check rule, and you must use it every single time you make a transaction, whether it's your first or your 500th. Before your finger ever touches that final confirmation button, you will stop and check 3 things. First, check the asset. Are you absolutely certain you are buying Bitcoin (BTC) and not some other similarly named coin? Second, check the amount. Read the US dollar amount out loud. I am spending $100. Then look at the crypto amount. Does it make sense? Check the decimal point. Check it again. Third, check the total cost. Look at the final all-in price including the fees. Understand what you are paying and what you are getting in return. Are you comfortable with the total debit from your bank account? Only after you have consciously and deliberately checked those 3 things do you have permission to click the button. The triple check rule takes maybe 5 seconds, and it is the single best habit you can build to ensure a long and prosperous journey in this space. It will save you from the #1 rookie error that has burned so many people before you. So now you've done it. You've triple checked everything. You take a breath. You press confirm buy. A moment of processing and then success. A splash of digital confetti on the screen. An email hits your inbox. Congratulations! You are now officially a cryptocurrency owner. You've crossed the bridge from spectator to participant. But now what? Where did your crypto actually go? Is it just a number on a screen? How do you know it's really yours, and more importantly, how do you know it's safe? In the next part, we will answer those questions. We're going to pull back the curtain on what happens in the seconds after your purchase. We'll explore the fundamental concept of a crypto wallet. We'll break down the critical difference between keeping your assets on the exchange versus taking self-custody. And I will introduce you to the single most important piece of information you will ever own in your crypto journey, your seed phrase. So let's start with a simple analogy. Think about your regular money. You have 2 main ways to hold it. You can keep it in a bank like Chase or Bank of America. It's convenient, it's insured up to a certain amount, and if you lose your debit card, you can just call them up and get a new one. The other way is to pull it out as cash. Green paper bills in your hand. Now you have total control. You can spend it anywhere, no one can stop you, but if you lose it or it burns in a house fire, it's gone forever. There's no one to call. Keeping your crypto on an exchange is like leaving your money in the bank. When you buy Bitcoin on Coinbase, you don't actually hold the Bitcoin directly. Coinbase holds it for you. They are the custodian. You just have an IOU, a line in their database that says you are entitled to a certain amount of crypto. And for many people starting out, this feels safe and familiar. It's easy. You have a username and a password. If you forget your password, you can click a link and reset it. Simple. But this convenience comes with a colossal hidden risk. And it's summed up in one of the oldest and most important sayings in cryptocurrency. Not your keys, not your coins. If you don't control the underlying technology that secures the asset, you don't truly own the asset. You are trusting the exchange to be honest, competent, and solvent. And sometimes that trust is catastrophically misplaced. Let's talk about FTX. In 2022, FTX was one of the biggest, most trusted exchanges in the world. It had celebrity endorsements, Super Bowl ads, its name on a major sports arena in Miami. It looked as solid as any bank on Wall Street. Millions of people, from regular folks to sophisticated hedge funds, kept billions of dollars worth of crypto on the platform. They trusted FTX. Then, in the span of about a week, it all imploded. It turned out the people running the company were allegedly using customer funds, your funds, my funds, as their own personal piggy bank, making risky bets and lending it out to their side businesses. When the market turned and people wanted their money back, the money wasn't there. The vault was empty. The music stopped and billions of dollars vanished. People who had their life savings on the platform went to log in and saw their balance was zero. The withdrawal button was disabled. Their bank had failed, and there was no FDIC insurance to bail them out. They weren't customers, they were unsecured creditors in a bankruptcy proceeding, hoping to get pennies back on the dollar years down the line. This isn't a one-off event. It's happened over and over again with exchanges like MTGOX, Quadriga CX, and Celsius. When you leave your assets on an exchange, you are accepting the risk of a catastrophic failure. You are trusting a third party with your wealth. This is where the second option comes in, self-custody. This is the crypto equivalent of taking the cash out of the bank and putting it in your own pocket. It means you, and only you, control the private keys to your cryptocurrency. You become your own bank. No one can freeze your account. No one can gamble your assets away. No exchange collapse can touch your funds. If you have your keys, you have your coins. It is financial sovereignty in its purest form. But just like holding a wad of cash, it comes with a terrifying level of personal responsibility. There is no customer support hotline to call if you mess up. There is no forgot password button. If you lose access to your keys, your crypto is gone forever. Not maybe. Not, it's difficult to get back. It is permanently, irretrievably lost to the digital void for all of eternity. So how do you hold these all-powerful keys? How do you become your own bank? You do it through a crypto wallet, and the heart of that wallet is the single most important piece of information you will ever own in this space. It's called your seed phrase, or sometimes a recovery phrase or mnemonic phrase. This is not a password. A password protects an account. A seed phrase is the account. Imagine your entire crypto portfolio is a treasure chest buried on a digital island. Your seed phrase is the magic map and the master key, all in one. It's a list of 12, or sometimes 24, simple English words, generated in a specific order by your wallet when you first set it up. Words like ocean, abandon, future, legal, pudding, cigar. These words, in this exact order, are the human-readable version of your master private key. From this sequence of words, your wallet can mathematically derive every single key for every single crypto asset you will ever own within that wallet. It is the genetic code of your entire portfolio. Here's the part you need to understand deep in your bones. If your computer melts, if your phone falls into the ocean, if the wallet company you use goes out of business tomorrow, it doesn't matter. As long as you have that list of 12 or 24 words, you can go to almost any other compatible wallet software, on any new device in the world, enter your phrase, and your entire portfolio will be right there, restored in full. It's like a blueprint for rebuilding your financial house from nothing. But the reverse is also true. If anyone else in the world gets their hands on your seed phrase, they can do the exact same thing. They can enter your words into their own wallet, and they will have instant, total, and irreversible access to all of your funds. They can drain your entire account in seconds, and there is nothing you or anyone else can do to stop them. Let me tell you a story to burn this into your memory. It's one of crypto's most famous cautionary tales. An IT worker in the UK named James Howells was one of the very early miners of Bitcoin. Back in 2013, he mined thousands of them when they were practically worthless. He stored them on a hard drive. At some point, he was cleaning his office, had two identical hard drives, and accidentally threw the one with the Bitcoin on it into the trash. That hard drive, which today sits under millions of tons of garbage in a landfill in Newport, Wales, contains a private key to what would now be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He knows the treasure is there. We all know it's there. But without the key, without that data, it is forever inaccessible. He has spent years and millions of dollars trying to get permission to excavate the landfill, with no success. His fortune is buried, and he lost the map. That is the power and the peril of self-custody. You are in complete control, for better or for worse. So, how do you protect this master key to your kingdom? First, what you absolutely must not do. Do not, under any circumstances, store your seed phrase on any device that is connected to the internet. Do not type it into a text file on your computer. Do not save it in your Notes app. Do not email it to yourself. Do not store it in Google Drive or Dropbox. Do not take a screenshot or a photograph of it with your phone. Any of these actions exposes your master key to hackers, malware, and data breaches. It is the digital equivalent of making 1,000 copies of your house key and scattering them in a public park. So what do? You go completely analog. When your wallet gives you your seed phrase for the first time, you write it down with a pen on a piece of paper. Check every word and double-check the spelling and the order. Number them from 1 to 12 or 1 to 24. Then, you take that piece of paper and you protect it like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. Don't just leave it in your desk drawer. Store it in a fireproof safe. Store it in a bank's safe deposit box. Better yet, make 2 or 3 physical copies and store them in separate, secure, geographically diverse locations. One at your home, one in a safe deposit box, maybe one at a trusted family member's house in a sealed, tamper-proof envelope. If one location is compromised by fire, flood, or theft, you have backups. For those who want to take it to the next level, you can etch your seed phrase into metal plates designed specifically for this purpose. Steel and titanium don't burn in a house fire, and they don't get destroyed in a flood. The ink on a piece of paper can fade or run. Stamping your words into metal is the ultimate form of offline backup. I know this sounds intense. It sounds like something out of a spy movie, but we are talking about a new kind of property, a new kind of money that gives you absolute ownership, and with that comes absolute responsibility. So what's the right move for you right now? It doesn't have to be all or nothing. My advice for a complete beginner is this. It's perfectly okay to make your first small crypto purchase and leave it on a large, reputable US-regulated exchange like the one we set up in the previous part. Use it as training wheels. Get comfortable with the price fluctuations. Get a feel for the market. But as your investment grows, as you put in an amount of money that you would be devastated to lose, your number one priority should be to learn how to move it into your own self-custody wallet. The goal is to graduate from being a passenger to being the pilot of your own financial ship. And the cockpit of that ship, the control panel that gives you absolute authority, is what we call a self-custody wallet. This is the single most important concept you need to grasp to truly own your digital assets. Think of it this way, when you leave your crypto on an exchange like Coinbase or Kraken, you're basically leaving your money in a bank. You have an account, you can see your balance, but the bank holds the actual cash in their vault. They have the keys. They have the ultimate control. If they go bankrupt, get hacked, or if a regulator freezes their assets, your money could be gone. It's an IOU. A self-custody wallet, on the other hand, is like having your own personal indestructible Fort Knox level safe right in your pocket or in your desk drawer, and you are the only person on planet Earth who holds the key. It's not an IOU. It's the asset itself. This is the principle of not your keys, not your crypto. It's the foundational rule of this entire space. So, how do we get you the keys to your own vault? Wallets come in two main flavors, hot and cold. A hot wallet is software that lives on your computer or your phone. It's connected to the internet, which is why it's called hot. They are incredibly convenient for sending, receiving, and interacting with crypto applications. Think of this as the wallet you carry in your pocket. It has some cash for daily use, but you wouldn't carry your entire life savings in it. A cold wallet, or hardware wallet, is a small physical device like a USB drive that stores your keys completely offline. It is the most secure way to store cryptocurrency, period. This is your deep storage vault. It's where you put the assets you don't plan on touching for a long time. For anyone planning to invest a significant amount, and significant is relative to you. A cold wallet is not a suggestion, it's a necessity. We'll get to that. For today, our mission is to get you set up with your first hot wallet. This is the perfect training ground. It's free, it's fast, and it will teach you the fundamental skills of self-sovereignty. Now I need your undivided attention. What we are about to do is the most critical part of your entire crypto journey. The next 5 minutes will determine the safety of your assets for years to come. When you create a self-custody wallet, it will generate something called a seed phrase, or a recovery phrase. This is a list of 12 or 24 simple English words, in a specific order. Let me be crystal clear. This is not a password. A password protects an account. This seed phrase is the account. It is the master key to your digital vault. Anyone who gets these words in the correct order can access your crypto from any device, anywhere in the world, and steal it all. And there is no customer service line to call. There is no forgot my seed phrase button. Once it's gone forever. Conversely, if your phone falls into a lake or your computer dies, as long as you have that list of words, you can buy a new device, download the same wallet software, enter your seed phrase, and your crypto will be right there waiting for you. The words are the wealth. So here are the 3 commandments of your seed phrase. Tattoo them on your brain. 1. You will never ever, under any circumstances, store your seed phrase digitally. Do not type it into a notes app. Do not email it to yourself. Do not save it in a Word document. And for the love of all that is good, do not take a screenshot of it. Hackers and malware are designed to scan your devices for exactly these kinds of files. Storing it digitally is like leaving the key to your vault under the welcome mat. 2. You will never, ever share your seed phrase with anyone. No friendly support person in a Discord chat, no official-looking email, no one. Wallet companies, exchanges, nobody will ever ask you for it. Anyone who does is a scammer 100% of the time. 3. You will write your seed phrase down on a physical object, a piece of paper, a notebook, or even better, a metal plate, and you will store it in a secure private location, or multiple locations. Think fireproof safe, a bank safe deposit box, a place no one else would ever think to look. Got it? Good. Now let's walk through setting one up. I won't name a specific brand because the process is nearly identical for all the major, reputable software wallets. First, you'll go to the official app store on your phone or the official website on your computer. Be paranoid about this. Triple check that you are downloading the real application, not a convincing fake. Look at the number of downloads and the reviews. Once you've installed it, you'll open it and select Create a New Wallet. The software will then present you with your sacred 12 or 24 words. This is the moment. Get a pen and paper. Don't do this in a coffee shop or on a public train. Do it alone. Write down each word carefully, spelling it correctly. Number them from 1 to 12 or 1 to 24. Double-check the order. The order is everything. Once you've written it down, the wallet software will cleverly test you. It will say, "Please confirm your seed phrase," and ask you to tap the words in the correct sequence or ask for word number 7, word number 3, and word number 11. This is its way of making absolutely sure you have a correct physical backup before it entrusts you with your new digital vault. After you've confirmed the phrase, you'll be asked to create a password. This password is only for this specific device. It's what you'll use to unlock the app on your phone or computer every day. It's a convenience and a local security layer. If someone steals your unlocked phone, they still need this password to open the wallet app and send a transaction. But remember, the seed phrase is the ultimate master key that can bypass this password on any new device. And that's it. Congratulations! You are now the sole custodian of a brand new, empty, but incredibly powerful cryptocurrency wallet. You have the keys. Now for the magic moment. Moving your money from the bank to your personal safe. We're going to perform a test transaction. We are not going to send your entire stack of Bitcoin or Ethereum at once. We're going to send a tiny, insignificant amount first. $10. An amount you wouldn't even notice if it vanished into the ether. Open your new wallet. You'll see a prominent button that says Receive or Deposit. When you click it, you'll see a long string of letters and numbers. This is your wallet's public address. Think of it like your home mailing address or your bank account number. It's public information. You can give it to anyone in the world, and they can use it to send you crypto. They can see what's at the address, but they can't open the mailbox without your private key, which is secured by your seed phrase. There will be a copy button next to this address. Click it. Now log into your exchange account, Coinbase, Kraken, wherever you bought your crypto. Find the option to withdraw or send. It will ask you which asset you want to send. Let's say it's Ethereum. You'll then see a field for the recipient's address. This is where you paste the address you just copied from your self-custody wallet. And now, another critically important step. Check the address. Check it again. Read the first 4 characters and the last 4 characters on the exchange screen, and then look back at your wallet app and make sure they match perfectly. Some sophisticated malware can actually change the address in your clipboard so you think you're pasting your address, but you're actually pasting a hacker's. Be meticulous. This is your money. Next, you will likely have to select a network. This can be confusing, but for now, just know that you have to send it on the same network that your wallet is on. If you're sending Ethereum, you'll likely select the Ethereum or ERC20 network. If you send crypto on the wrong network, it can be lost forever. Now enter the amount. Remember, $10. A small test. Confirm the transaction. The exchange will likely ask for your password and a 2-factor authentication code. This is normal. And then you wait. Depending on the network, it could take anywhere from 30 seconds to 10 minutes. Go back to your new wallet app. Refresh it. And then you'll see it. That small deposit will appear. That little bit of crypto is no longer an IOU from an exchange. It is verifiably, mathematically, and unequivocally yours. It's in your vault. You are the pilot. Once you've successfully completed that small test transaction and you see the funds in your wallet, you can feel confident repeating the process with a larger amount. You've now mastered the single most empowering skill in the world of digital assets. You've built the vault and moved your first piece of gold inside. But what if I told you that gold could earn you more gold, all while sitting safely in your vault? What if your assets could work for you 24/7 without ever leaving your possession? That's not just possible, it's the next evolution of this technology, and it's exactly where we're going next. This new financial world isn't just about buying an asset and hoping it goes up. It's about turning that asset into a productive, income-generating machine. This is the world of decentralized finance, or DeFi. And it's the single biggest reason why this technology is more than just digital money. Think about your bank. When you deposit $100 into a savings account, what happens? The bank doesn't just put your cash in a little box with your name on it. They take your money, lend it out to someone else for a car loan or a mortgage at say 7% interest, and they give you a microscopic piece of that profit, maybe 0.5% if you're lucky. They are the middleman. They use your money to make money, and they keep almost all of the profit. DeFi asks a very simple question. What if we could build a system that does all of that but without the bank? What if you could be the one to lend out your assets directly to someone else and keep the vast majority of the profit for yourself? That's DeFi in a nutshell. It's a parallel financial system being built on the blockchain, one that's open to anyone, anywhere, with no one in the middle taking a massive cut. It's built on smart contracts, which are just programs that run on the blockchain. Think of them like digital vending machines. If you put in the right coin, the collateral, the machine automatically gives you the product, the loan. There's no bank manager to approve it, no paperwork to sign. It's just code. Unstoppable, transparent, and available 24/7. So, how do you actually put your crypto to work in this new system? There are 3 main ways we're going to cover, from the simplest to the most advanced. First, and most accessible for a beginner, is staking. Remember how we talked about proof of work, where Bitcoin miners use powerful computers to solve puzzles and secure the network? Well, many newer blockchains, including the upgraded Ethereum, use a different system called proof of stake. Instead of using massive amounts of electricity, this system is secured by people who own the network's native coin. By staking your coins, you are essentially locking them up for a period of time to help validate transactions and secure the network. You're putting skin in the game. You're saying, I believe in this network, and I'm willing to put my own assets on the line to prove it. In return for providing this crucial service, the network rewards you with more of its coins. It's the digital equivalent of earning a dividend on a stock. You hold the asset, you support the ecosystem, and you get paid for it. The best part? For major cryptocurrencies like Ethereum, you can often do this directly from the exchange where you bought it, like Coinbase or Kraken, or from a trusted wallet. With just a few clicks, you can put your assets to work and start earning rewards, often in the range of 3 to 5% annually. It's one of the simplest and relatively safer ways to start earning passive income on your crypto. The second method is lending. This is where DeFi really starts to feel like a new kind of bank. There are platforms, protocols like Aave or Compound, that are essentially decentralized money markets. They are massive automated pools of capital. You can go to one of these platforms and deposit your Bitcoin or Ethereum into a lending pool. Once you do, you immediately start earning interest. Why? Because other people are borrowing from that pool and paying interest to do so. You, as the lender, get a piece of that interest. The rates are variable and change based on supply and demand, but they often far exceed anything you could ever hope to get from a traditional bank savings account. Now, you might be thinking, wait, I'm just lending my crypto to some anonymous person on the internet? What if they don't pay it back? This is the genius of the system. All loans in DeFi are over-collateralized. This means if someone wants to borrow $100 worth of a stablecoin, they have to first lock up, say, $150 worth of their own Ethereum as collateral. If the value of their Ethereum collateral starts to drop and gets too close to the value of their loan, the smart contract automatically sells their collateral to pay back the loan. The lender is always made whole. It's a system designed to protect the lender, making it a powerful way to earn yield on your assets without taking on counterparty risk. And this brings us to the third, most advanced, and potentially most lucrative method: yield farming, also known as liquidity providing. This one sounds complex, but let's break it down with an analogy. Imagine a currency exchange booth at an airport. To operate, that booth needs to have a supply of both US dollars and euros on hand so that people can trade back and forth. The person who owns the booth is a liquidity provider. They earn a small fee on every single trade. In DeFi, decentralized exchanges like Uniswap are the currency exchange booths. But there's no central company that owns them. Instead, they are made up of thousands of individual liquidity pools. A single pool might be for trading Ethereum and a stablecoin like USDC. To make that trading possible, the pool needs a supply of both Ethereum and USDC. That's where you come in. As a liquidity provider, you can deposit an equal value of both assets into the pool. For example, $1,000 of Ethereum and $1,000 of USDC. By doing this, you are providing the inventory that allows thousands of people to trade those two assets. And for providing this vital service, you earn a percentage of the trading fees from every single swap that happens in that pool. This is where the term yield farming comes from. You are literally planting your assets in a pool to harvest the fees, or yields, that grow from it. The potential returns can be significantly higher than staking or lending, sometimes reaching double or even triple-digit APYs. But with great reward comes great risk. This is not free money, and anyone who tells you it is lying. Before you even think about putting a single dollar into a liquidity pool, you need to understand a concept called impermanent loss. Let's go back to our pool with Ethereum and USDC. You put in $1,000 of each. Now imagine the price of Ethereum doubles overnight. Your initial $2,000 investment is now worth more, right? Yes, but here's the catch. The smart contract that governs the pool is always trying to keep the dollar value of both sides of the pool balanced. As people rush in to buy the now more valuable Ethereum with their USDC, the pool sells some of its Ethereum to them. This means your share of the pool ends up with less Ethereum and more USDC than you started with. When you finally withdraw your funds, you might find that the total dollar value is less than what it would have been if you had simply held your original Ethereum and USDC in your wallet without providing liquidity. It's called impermanent, because if the price of Ethereum returns to its original price, the loss disappears. But if you withdraw while the prices are out of whack, that loss becomes very permanent. The fees you earn are meant to offset this risk, but in times of extreme volatility, they don't always succeed. Beyond impermanent loss, there's smart contract risk. The entire DeFi ecosystem is built on code, and code can have bugs. Hackers are constantly looking for exploits in these smart contracts to drain funds from protocols. While the top-tier, most established protocols are audited by multiple firms and have been battle-tested for years, the risk never truly goes to zero. A new unaudited protocol promising a 1,000% APY is like a vault with a door made of cardboard. It might look good, but it's not secure. So, you're now earning passive income, your crypto is working for you. But this also makes you a bigger target. The biggest risk isn't a market crash or impermanent loss. It's one single mistake, one lapse in your personal security that could cost you everything you've built. So how do you build a digital fortress around your assets? How do you make sure that you, and only you, can ever access your wealth? That's the most important lesson of all, and it's coming up next. The answer is a single, powerful principle that separates the amateurs from the sovereigns in the world of digital assets. Not your keys, not your crypto. Let's say that again because it is the golden rule, the prime directive, the one thing you must never forget. Not your keys, not your crypto. When you leave your assets on an exchange, you don't actually own them. The exchange owns them. What you have is an IOU, a promise from that company that they'll give you your crypto when you ask for it. And as we've seen time and time again, from the early days of Mt. Gox to the spectacular collapses of giants like FTX, promises can be broken. In 2026, the exchanges are more regulated, more robust, but the fundamental risk remains. A hack, a government seizure, a sudden bankruptcy, any of these can vaporize that and with it your entire portfolio. Building your digital fortress means taking back control. It means moving from being a creditor with an IOU to being the sole, undisputed owner of your assets. It means becoming your own bank. And the key to that bank, the only key that will ever exist, is something called a private key, which is represented by a seed phrase. Imagine you just bought a bar of gold. Leaving it on an exchange is like leaving that gold bar in the company's lobby, with a sticky note on it that has your name. Taking self-custody is like building a custom, impenetrable vault in your basement. A vault only you know the combination to. Your seed phrase is that combination. It's usually a list of 12 or 24 simple words, like apple, river, future, whale. These words, in their exact order, are the master key to your crypto wallet. They can be used to regenerate your entire wallet on any compatible device, anywhere in the world. Anyone who has this phrase has your crypto. Anyone. There is no two-factor authentication that can stop them. There is no customer service line to call. If you lose it, your crypto is gone forever. If someone else finds it, your crypto is gone forever. This is the profound responsibility and the absolute freedom of self-custody. So, how do we manage this terrifyingly powerful key? You certainly don't save it in a text file on your computer, or in your email drafts, or in a photo on your phone. Why? Because anything connected to the internet is, by definition, vulnerable. Hackers are relentlessly creative. Malware can scan your files, keyloggers can record what you type, and a simple phone hack could give someone access to your entire digital life, including that photo of your seed phrase. The only way to secure the master key is to keep it completely 100% offline, from the moment it's created until the day you die. And the gold standard for doing this is a device called a hardware wallet. Think of a hardware wallet as a tiny, specialized computer, a digital vault whose only job is to protect your private key from the outside world. It looks like a USB drive, and it connects to your computer or phone when you want to make a transaction. But here's the magic. Even when it's connected, your private key never, ever leaves the hardware wallet. It never touches your internet-connected computer. When you want to send crypto, your computer prepares the transaction details and sends them to the hardware wallet. Inside that secure device, the transaction is signed using your private key, proving you approve it. Then, only the signed, approved transaction is sent back to the computer and out to the network. Your master key remains safely isolated, offline, untouchable. It's like a king signing a royal decree from inside a sealed, protected chamber. The decree goes out into the world, but no one ever gets access to the king himself. So, your first major step in building this fortress is to buy a reputable hardware wallet. By 2026, brands like Ledger, Trezor, and others have years of proven security behind them. But here is a critical warning. Only buy a hardware wallet directly from the official manufacturer's website. Never buy one from Amazon, eBay, or a third-party seller, no matter how good the deal seems. Scammers can buy these devices, tamper with them to steal your keys, then shrink-wrap them and sell them as new. Buying direct is your only guarantee of safety. When your wallet arrives, you'll begin the most important setup process of your crypto journey. You'll turn it on and it will generate a brand new, random 24-word seed phrase. This phrase will be displayed on the device's tiny screen, and only on that screen. It will never be shown on your computer. Your job is to physically write it down. Not type it. Write it. Use a pen and the paper cards that come with the wallet. Write it clearly. Double-check the spelling of every word. Triple-check the order. This is your one and only chance to get it right. Now, here's a pro-level step that 99% of beginners skip, but it will give you unshakable peace of mind. After you've written down the phrase and set up the wallet, intentionally wipe the device. Reset it to factory settings. It's a terrifying feeling, but it's the ultimate test. Then, use the 24 words you wrote down to restore your wallet. If it works, and it will if you wrote it down correctly, you now have absolute 100% proof that your backup is perfect. You can now confidently move your assets, knowing you hold the one true key to their recovery. But what about that piece of paper? Paper is fragile. It can be destroyed in a fire, a flood, or just get thrown away by mistake. That's why you need to upgrade your backup. You can buy steel or titanium plates designed to stamp or engrave your seed phrase into metal, making it resistant to almost any physical disaster. And where do you store this metal plate? This is where you have to think like a spy. The worst place is somewhere obvious, like your desk drawer. The best strategy is redundancy and distribution. Don't keep your only backup in the same house as your hardware wallet. What if there's a fire? You could have one copy in a safe at home, and another in a safe deposit box at a bank. Or one part of the phrase at your parents' house, and the other part at your siblings'. Some people even split the phrase in two, storing words 1 through 12 in one location, and 13 through 24 in a completely different one. That way, even if one is found, it's useless without the other half. It might sound extreme, but when you're protecting a potential life-changing amount of wealth, extreme is prudent. This is the core of your fortress. A hardware wallet for daily use, and a physically secured, offline seed phrase for disaster recovery. But the fortress also has walls and guards, which we call operational security. This is about your behavior. Be skeptical of everything. If you get an email or a direct message from someone offering you free crypto or an amazing deal, it is a scam. If a website asks you to type in your 24-word seed phrase to verify your wallet or claim an airdrop, it is a scam designed to drain every last cent you own. Your seed phrase is for recovery only. You will almost never need to type it into a computer. Be vigilant about SIM swap attacks, where a hacker convinces your cell provider to switch your phone number to their SIM card, giving them access to all your text message-based two-factor authentication. Use app-based authenticators like Google Authenticator or, even better, a physical security key like a YubiKey for your exchange accounts. This all sounds like a lot, and it is. Being your own bank is a serious responsibility, but it's a process you only have to set up once. You take one afternoon to meticulously build your digital fortress, and in return, you get a lifetime of financial sovereignty. You get the peace of mind that comes from knowing that no matter what happens to any company, any bank, or any government, your wealth is yours and yours alone, protected by the unbreakable laws of mathematics. You've now walked the entire path. From understanding the spark of an idea to choosing where to buy to making your first purchase, and now to securing it like a professional. You hold the keys to your own financial future. But a fortress is useless without a strategy. A pile of gold is just a heavy rock if you don't know what to do with it. Now comes the final piece of the puzzle, playing the long game. How do you manage your portfolio, deal with the gut-wrenching volatility, and most importantly for us in the US, how do you handle the taxes? How do you turn this initial investment into a long-term strategy that can actually build generational wealth, instead of just being a lottery ticket? That's the final chapter in our story. Let's start with the one thing nobody wants to talk about but everyone has to deal with, the IRS. In the United States, the Internal Revenue Service has a very clear stance on cryptocurrency, and understanding it is non-negotiable. They do not see Bitcoin, Ethereum, or any other crypto as currency. They see it as property, just like a stock, a bond, or a piece of real estate. This single distinction is the key to everything. Because it's treated as property, you owe taxes on the profits you make when you dispose of it. So what counts as a disposal? This is where most people get tripped up. There are 4 main taxable events you have to track. First, the most obvious, selling your crypto for US dollars. You bought one Ethereum for $2,000 and you sell it for $5,000. That $3,000 profit is a capital gain, and it's taxable. Second, and this is the one that surprises everyone, trading one cryptocurrency for another. If you trade your Bitcoin for some Solana, the IRS sees that as you selling your Bitcoin at its current market value, and then using that money to buy Solana. If your Bitcoin had gone up in value since you first bought it, you've just created a taxable capital gain, even though no dollars ever touched your bank account. This is critically important. Every single crypto-to-crypto trade is a taxable event. Third, using your crypto to buy goods or services. If you buy a cup of coffee for $5 worth of Bitcoin, you've technically just sold $5 worth of Bitcoin. If that specific fraction of a Bitcoin was worth only $3 when you acquired it, you just realized a $2 capital gain that you technically owe taxes on. Yes, it's that granular. And finally, getting paid in crypto, whether for a job or from things like crypto mining or staking rewards. That is treated as income, valued at the market price on the day you receive it. So what isn't taxable? Thankfully, a few things. Buying crypto with US dollars is not a taxable event. You're just acquiring property. Holding it, or as the community calls it, hodling, is not taxable. You don't owe taxes on unrealized gains, only when you sell or trade. And moving crypto between wallets that you personally own is not taxable. Sending Bitcoin from your exchange account to your hardware wallet is just moving your property from one safe to another. Now, how much tax you pay depends on one simple factor: time. This is the difference between being a short-term gambler and a long-term investor. If you hold an asset for 1 year or less before selling or trading it, any profit is considered a short-term capital gain. This is taxed at your ordinary income tax rate, the same rate as your job salary, which can be quite high. But if you hold that same asset for more than 1 year, a year and a day to be exact, it becomes a long-term capital gain. The tax rates on long-term gains are significantly lower, and for many people they can be 15%, 5%, or even 0%. Think about that. The simple act of holding on for a little longer can literally save you thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars in taxes. This is how the tax code incentivizes long-term investment over short-term speculation. Now, trying to track every purchase price, every trade, every date, it's a nightmare. That's why using a crypto tax software is almost mandatory. Services like Coinly, CoinTracker, or a dozen others can connect to your exchanges via API, track all your transactions, and generate the necessary tax forms like Form 8949 that you or your accountant will need. Do not try to do this by hand in a spreadsheet. It's a recipe for disaster. Get the right tool for the job. And that brings us to the final, most important piece of the puzzle: shifting your mindset from a trader to an investor. The goal is not to buy a coin on Tuesday and sell it for a 20% profit on Friday. That's a high-stress, full-time job where the house almost always wins. The goal is to build a strategy that works for you over years, even decades. The single most powerful strategy for a new investor is dollar cost averaging, or DCA. Instead of trying to be a genius who can predict the absolute bottom of the market, which no one can do consistently, you simply commit to buying a fixed dollar amount on a regular schedule. For example, you decide to invest $100 into Bitcoin and Ethereum every single Friday no matter what. If the market is way up, your $100 buys a smaller amount of crypto. If the market has crashed and there's fear in the streets, your $100 buys a much larger amount. Over time, this strategy smooths out the volatility. It forces you to buy more when prices are low and less when prices are high, averaging out your entry price and removing the crippling emotions of fear and greed from the equation. It is the most disciplined, stress-free way to build a significant position over the long term. Many exchanges even allow you to set up automatic recurring buys to make it effortless. As your portfolio grows, you might consider a slightly more advanced strategy called rebalancing. Let's say you decided on a simple portfolio, 60% Bitcoin, 40% Ethereum. But after a huge bull run, you check your account and see that Ethereum has outperformed and now makes up 70% of your portfolio. Rebalancing is the simple act of selling some of that outperforming asset, in this case Ethereum, and using the proceeds to buy more of the underperforming 1 Bitcoin to get back to your original 60-40 target. This forces you to systematically take profits from your winners and reinvest them into assets that are comparatively cheaper. It's a disciplined way to sell high and buy low without letting emotion dictate your strategy. You might do this once a year or once every quarter. But why go through all this trouble? Why learn about taxes, hardware wallets, and dollar cost averaging? Because this is about more than just numbers on a screen. This is about owning a piece of the next great technological leap forward. We are in the very early days of a fundamental rewiring of the global financial system. The internet changed how we share information. Crypto and blockchain are changing how we exchange value. Building a long-term strategy isn't about getting rich tomorrow. It's about building a foundation for your future. It's about preserving your purchasing power in a world of inflation. It's about having a sovereign asset that you, and only you, control. Your long-term strategy is only as strong as your security. That's why we spent so much time on self-custody and hardware wallets. If your plan is to hold for 5, 10, or 20 years, you simply cannot leave that kind of value on an exchange. That's like leaving gold bars on your front porch and hoping for the best. You need a vault. Your hardware wallet is your personal digital vault, immune to exchange hacks, freezes, or bankruptcies. Look how far we've come in this journey together. From asking what even is Bitcoin, to understanding the core technology, choosing a US-based exchange, making that first purchase, and taking the critical step of moving your assets into your own custody. And now you understand how to navigate the tax implications and build a real, disciplined, long-term strategy. You've gone from a curious observer to a knowledgeable participant. I can't tell you what to buy or when to sell. Nobody can. Anyone who promises you guaranteed returns or a secret formula is selling you a fantasy. But what this series aimed to do was give you the tools, the framework, and the mindset to make your own informed decisions. To give you the confidence to take that first step, to become your own bank, and to participate in what might be the most significant wealth creation opportunity of our generation. If this series helped turn a complex and intimidating subject into a clear and actionable path, then our mission is accomplished. I'd love to know what your biggest takeaway was. What was the aha moment for you on this journey? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to continue this journey with us as we dive into more advanced topics in this new digital economy, make sure you're subscribed, because we are truly just getting started. The future of finance is being built right now, block by block. The question is no longer if you should participate, but how. And now you know how. Welcome to the new economy.